Okay, so let's talk about how to grow in 2025 without adding complexity, more moving parts, or losing your sanity trying to manage an over complicated business. I'm going to show you the simple system that we use to generate consistent, profitable growth for different businesses using a simple 5-part modular system. This works even in today's climate where ads are more expensive, customers more skeptical, AI is flooding the market with a ton of information. This is still, or as this is now, the 100% best way to grow. And this works. You don't need a big audience or a huge team or daily content of spending hours and hours of your time posting on social media to try and get people in. You just need this model because this model is built around fundamental human psychology, and the best ways to grow your business have always worked time and time again. This model that I'm going to run you through in this training today, I'm going to run you through the whole model so you know exactly how to build this system into your business. This can work if you're like super early beginner, you got an idea and you want to launch that. This will help you in that sense. But really, who this is really going to help is for people who have already got some traction. This is going to show you how to simplify your marketing and your growth strategy so that you can get more consistent growth with less effort, less time, more predictability. Let's get into this. Okay, so how to scale more profitably in 2025. And what we're going to be covering is how you can attract high intent leads. And this is key. High intent leads are the big difference. A lot of people are going out there attracting low intent leads and then wondering why nobody ever buys the things, because those people never really had any desire or need to buy whatever it is that you're selling. What we'll be talking about in this is how to attract those high intent leads at break even, so you can afford to put money into marketing and get that money back very quickly, not having to worry about when you'll get that money back, if you'll get that money back, built into this system so that you either break even or make a small profit just on those initial purchases. Then we'll be talking about the system that upsells leads to a high ticket offer or your core offer, basically the thing that drives your primary profit for your business. What we found is that people who implement this system, the whole system, see at least 12 times more sales by doing this. And that system, once built, is 90% automated. You just need to maintain it. As you can see here, this is somebody in our community. They had a $1 product and they had 12 people were 12 times more likely to buy more stuff from them. They might be thinking, oh, that's great, but $1 product doesn't really fit with my business. Don't think of this as like a $1 product thing. That's just one element of this wider business strategy. Okay, I've used this with all kinds of businesses. Here's some results. This was a publicly listed pharma company, and they needed a couple of hundred people for a beta of a new app. They were going direct to consumer app. We built this model for them, and we got 6,645 leads. 3,209 of them were a fit for the beta. What was great about these guys is we got these leads in, and if they were a fit for the beta, they go here. If they weren't, it was for another product that company had, so we could just move them over. So these were not wasted leads. We just moved them over to a different product. It was a health and wellness, specifically weight loss. And basically, there were a couple of health conditions that meant they weren't a fit for this. If they had them, they were a fit for this, though. So it was all good. As you see, we massively over-delivered there. So big, publicly listed company, very complex brand. This worked by simplifying it and building this strategy for the launch of this product. For service businesses, coaches, consultants, so this is Rachel. She is amazing at sales, and her prior company was acquired. She was like director of sales, and then she didn't know whether she wanted to go into a new business, whether she wanted to grow her own agency, so she wanted to try doing some consulting. We set up this system. We got 3 new clients at $7,500 a month within 3 months, and actually a 4th client, which was about $1,500 a month for her within 3 months. So within 3 months, she basically implemented this system and got over 20K months within 3 months. And you might be thinking, oh, that's great, but you said it, if you're starting out, it's not great for you. Thing is, Rachel had funds from the acquisition and stuff, so she could afford to put this system into place. And also, she's great at what she does. This is a software company. We implemented the system. We overloaded their onboarding. It was flooded for days. This is an app company. And again, when you understand this system, you can look at a lot of people's marketing and go, that needs to change over there. So that's what I did with Greg here. And basically, you can very quickly understand, when you know what this system is, how to improve things. And that's exactly what we did with Greg so that he could scale that brand. Now, what you'll notice when you do this and when you implement this in your business is that a lot of metrics will go down. And that's a good thing. A lot of people are out there chasing vanity metrics, views, likes, reach, impressions, all of this crap. And that's fine, but they're not what pay the bills. So what will happen is those vanity metrics will decrease. However, the core metrics that are key to your business surviving will increase. So this is somebody in our community, website traffic down, YouTube views down, email signups up, revenue up 20% by implementing this. That's what we want. We don't want to keep you busy. We want to keep you productive and profitable. And that's what this whole model is about. And this was, I would say this was info products, this one. Manuel here had a physical product store and he wanted to launch a digital product, but he hadn't emailed his list. It was under 5K on the email list. He hadn't emailed in 2 years. So it's a completely dormant list. And basically we sent a quick warm-up sequence and we sent the sequence that I'll run you through later in this training. And we closed, it ended up being just under 14K in 2 weeks because we got a couple more sales come through. That's the power of this system, about focusing on high intent leads and then building this system to help promote your core profit driving offer. This works at any stage of business, as long as you've got some sort of traction and proven offers. It works at any size business because this is not like only for these people. It's fundamental good marketing and psychology. Okay. So, and it works even if you don't have huge ad spend. Obviously, huge ad spend is going to speed things up, but you don't need huge ad spend. I would recommend that you have some ad spend because it helps. You don't need a big network. You don't need hundreds of reviews or testimonials, all of this stuff. You don't need a massive email list. You don't need a really established brand, because the way that we build this is that we come in so low threat, people are willing to take a chance, even on the new person that they don't know about, or the new offer, or the disruptor in the space. Because we come in so low threat, and we'll explain that. All that you do need is a defined customer persona and an ideal customer. This is really key. A lot of people don't really know who they're serving. If you don't know who you're serving, how are you going to market to them? If you have a very defined ideal customer persona, this is what's going to help. And then you need a proven profit generating offer, something there. And basically we then build it around the customers and the offer. Everything else falls into place quite easily. What I will say before we get into the meat of this is, don't think that this is the same old run a free lead magnet, send them these emails, push them to get on a call, do a high pressure sales call, and then keep chasing them until they buy. Don't think it's that. This is not what this model is. And I will tell you a short story in a second about why it isn't this and how I lost a ton of money by following this common advice that everybody else is telling you to do. Because this model requires huge numbers. It requires a lot of time in terms of you actually setting this up, doing all of the steps, and a lot of time in terms of getting people from the free lead magnet to a paid offer over here can be weeks, months, a long time. And at each stage, there's huge drop-offs. So you're paying, even if you're not paying for ads, the time it takes you to create content is time that you're wasting money off. You're paying basically for that to create all of this stuff here, and getting nothing back. So it's very low profit because a lot of people drop off at each stage. And I'll explain why they drop off and how you can stop them from dropping off with this model. If you don't know who I am, my name is Pete. I've been in digital growth for about 12 years. I've worked with everything from SaaS, pharma, e-com service, digital products, physical products, could keep going, and at all stages of business. I myself was a freelancer. I then moved up to a consultant and then grew an agency. I've advised everything from solopreneurs all the way up to publicly listed companies on how to build more profitable growth strategies. And everything is now built around this model that I'm going to teach you in this video. Essentially, the big thing that you have to come to the initial realization of is that what used to work doesn't work anymore. Like I said above, the free lead magnet email sequence to the free consult to getting a sale doesn't work. So a couple of years ago, I tried a new business venture. I sunk quite a lot of money into it and it just failed. I made back like 5% of the money I put in. And then that industry just didn't really go anywhere. And I was like, my God, this is awful. I'm in a terrible place financially. But I didn't worry because I've been consulting for years. And so I can just go back to consulting. I'll do what I've always done. I'll throw up a free lead magnet. I'll put those people into an email sequence that will promote me. Then we'll do a free consultation, which is really a sales call, and they'll buy. And I can't remember how many people I got, but I got 3 figures. It was over 100. It was 100, 200 people come through here. They would go onto the email sequence. And I always say that I was using social posts and outreach to get people into the free lead magnet. Email sequence was there. It was like a hard promotion email sequence. It was like, hey, book a call, free consult. And what it would be with a free consult. And then the sale, it didn't work. Out of over 100 people, I had maybe 6 come through for the free consult, and I made exactly $0. And the reason that this doesn't work is because a lot of the people who are doing this are freebie seekers. They've come through for the free lead magnet. And when you give somebody something for free, you know what they want more of? More free stuff. So when you start hitting them with paid offers, they're like, no thanks. They're very low intent people. They're not actually looking to solve the problem. They're collecting this information because it's nice to have. And what they'll do is they'll take your free lead magnet and they'll go and they'll put it in a folder somewhere and they'll forget it. They'll forget it existed. They'll forget you existed. They'll forget who you are. So then you start emailing them like, who is this person? And so I did this after I lost all that money on the new business venture that didn't work. And after a month or 6 weeks of this, I was just like, something's got to change, because if I don't sort this out, I'm going to be in financial dire straits. And I was like, I just need to sell something really quick. So I switched the approach. Rather than a free lead magnet, I replaced it with a $1 product, very low ticket price for the offer. And then I built in a nice system around this. And what happened is I ended up with more buyers. And I'll run through the economics of this in a second. The reason that this was so much easier for me, I actually ended up making, I think I put it underneath, 26 customers, and I made $4,069 in 10 days. The reason that this is because I was then focusing on paying customers. Now, people who will put their money down are much higher intent. They are looking for a solution. They're not looking for information that they're going to store away. They're looking for a solution. The information, the expertise, the systems that you have are something they need to have. It's not something that they think is nice to have. They need to have it. They're willing to pay even a single dollar. They're so much more serious, much, much higher intent. So basically, I got 26 customers off this. And you might be thinking, hold on, Pete, that doesn't work. 26 customers is $26 from the $1 product. I had various upsells, which we'll run through in a second. And that helped me make $1,043. Add those together, $1,069. Not bad. And then I did some emails. The same emails I would have sent here. These were the same. And rather than a free consult, I was like, book a paid consultation and then you can hire me. Got a paid consult and then somebody hired me at $3,000. So I made $4,069 in 10 days. And this was in an industry where I had zero reputation. I put $0 behind the ad spend and zero connections. So you can imagine how much faster you can grow when you can then throw some money behind this, or you've already got reputation, or you've already got some connections to help you push this out. And like I said, this is the same system that we've used to help others. So this is the same system that we used to help Rachel secure those clients. It was a low ticket thing, and then the emails and then the upsell. With Rachel, it was a $100 workshop that we did. This is somebody who was selling coaching and consulting with low ticket offers. So this is just the front end, $1,764, and then their first $1,000 day by setting this up. And then this is somebody else who was running this same kind of model and boosting it with ads. In fact, this guy was boosting it with ads as well. This is info products. And then as you can see here, when you do boost it with ads, you can get the ad spend back very quickly with this system. This person was making back their money. Let's just take October. Spent $2,500 on ads in October. By the end of October, they generated $3,500. These buyers buy again, because remember, we're going after high intent people. They tend to buy again. So by December, that had risen. And these are all compounding gains because these are all different cohorts of people. Each of those cohorts are adding to the pot. And essentially what this system is all about is attracting daily buyers. So you make daily sales, which leads to weekly profits, which leads to month-on-month growth. Once you build this system, you can maintain it in an hour per day. Now, of course, if you want to continue to scale it, then you might need to put a bit more time in, but you can maintain the system in an hour per day. I know because I've done it, been on vacation, an hour a day, and I've maintained the system, still got sales coming in, still had people reaching out to me for my more expensive offers. So let's get into the meat of this, what we will cover in this. So we're going to look at the major mistakes that are holding you back from growth in 2025, why you should focus on buyers and not leads, how to attract buyers at scale for free, and how to automatically turn those customers into clients. And there's a big difference. Customers pay once, clients keep paying you again and again. That's where the profit's made. So let's look at what we should stop doing first of all. First of all, stop selling information. A lot of people are using free lead magnets and they're just info-based things, and it's like checklists and templates and all this stuff. There was a time when that was useful. If you were saving somebody 6 hours of research, great, I'll give you my email address. I can just go to ChatGPT and have it done quickly. AI's commoditized information. It's noisy. There's a lack of consumption. Consumption is needed if you want people to then trust you. So instead of selling information, start looking at how you can implement and sell a quick and easy solution to customers. In addition, it's led to a lot of very impersonal content. Now, the written word is becoming less and less effective, again, because AI can quickly spin up so much information. It's not really got the trust building element that it used to. High touch stuff generally has better results. So webinars, videos, calls, these kind of things where it's a real person that can't be mimicked by AI, at least not yet, have a much better conversion rate of when it comes to actually making some real money. A lot of people are also still following just status quo. And they're still doing the same kind of things and using AI to do those. Problem is with AI, there's nothing new with AI. It just rehashes existing info. If you really want to stand out, you need to be doing unique, controversial, and memorable things, or else you're going to get lost in the noise. The other big problem that I see is people trying to appeal to everybody. This seems to be worse the bigger the company is. They don't want to take a stand or really focus on one ICP because they think they have the resources to reach everybody. The bigger the companies that I've worked with, the more sort of generic it gets, but generic offers are worse than ever. Specificity is key. Like I said at the start, you need a proven offer and a defined ICP to get good results. You've got to show specific expertise and really show them that you understand them to get results. Vanity metrics are dead to me. Revenue and profit are the goal. AI makes vanity metrics easy. I can have AI write 1,000 posts for me and just post them on LinkedIn. And I'll see my LinkedIn view rate go up simply because I'm spamming the platform. Doesn't mean that that's going to result in any business. You should be focusing on smaller audiences, but of buyers first. Okay. So this is what you should be doing. And this is how the model looks that I help people build. It's called the ACCER model, and ACCER is a simple acronym, stands for Attract, Capture, Convert, Engage, Refer. It's split in two, which I'll get into later, but all that you need is one asset and one approach at each stage. These are the golden rules of ACCER, one asset at each stage. And by this, what a lot of people are doing is they're trying to attract people with Facebook ads, YouTube organic, and they look at a big brand like HubSpot and say, they're doing all of this. Yeah, but HubSpot has dedicated teams for each of those things. Do you have dedicated teams for each of those things? No. So you're splitting your attention. Better option is for you to go, I'm going to focus only on organic YouTube or whatever, right? Pick one, focus down on it. You will get better at that thing much faster. Not only that, but by focusing all of your time on it, you'll get much better compounding gains as well. So you'll get better results. It just works. And it's the same at every stage. One capture mechanic, one conversion mechanic, one engage mechanic, one refer mechanic. What happens is once you set this system up, this can be automated, this can be automated, this can be automated. And then this and this are the only things that you need to watch, and you can manage those in an hour a day to maintain it. Obviously, if you want to improve and tweak it, it takes much more, but once you have it working, maintaining is really key. We want to get people here ASAP. This is where people are converted into customers and where you're getting money back from them. We want to do this for two reasons, because we want a very fast payback period. We want a very fast payback period. So we put money in today, we make money back today. That means that we can invest in more growth more comfortably. But also we want to filter for the serious buyers. So we don't want to focus on people who only want free stuff. We want to find and focus on the people who are paying for stuff. That's the best bit. And once you know how to focus on those buyers, you can ascend them to the done with you, done for you, higher ticket, profit driving offers over here. And this can be anything. I've done this with apps, with services, with info products, e-com products, whatever. Essentially, you want to get people in, identify buyers with something low ticket, and then focus on those people and get them into a higher ticket purchase later down the road. Generally speaking, buyers will buy again. So we want to focus on the buyers. I'll highlight them. Now, like I said, couple of ways that you can really get this done really quickly. The first one is to have deep specific offers. Okay. Most people will go wide with their offers. And I've done this as an example for digital marketing because you're watching this. So I assume that you know some stuff about digital marketing. And what most people will do is that they will try and go across all of these. So, oh, we do SEO and PPC and email and organic social, and we'll help you with your mindset as well. These are all within growth marketing, right? They're all within this growth marketing circle. So yes, if you're a growth marketer, you might need to know about all of those things. However, the person who's looking for an SEO service might come in and pay you for a low ticket offer for SEO, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're then going to pay you for a high ticket offer for PPC. It's two different things. They want to get better at SEO. So rather than trying to do 10 things poorly, do one thing really fucking well. And start off with a low ticket offer, DIY, and then go done with you and done for you are the common things. But you can just go low, mid, high ticket. And this way you can sell the same thing over and over again, but at different levels. Here's a course that you can go and do this. Do you want more help? Hire me. I can help coach you through it. Do you want me to just do it for you? And like I said, the price here then increases as you go down this DIY, done with you, done for you funnel. To get this right, you really need to focus on the ICP. And most people don't have a really defined ICP. You want to get as defined as possible. So a couple of things that you want to be looking at is like the size and stage of the person that you're working with. How many resources do they have? What's their revenue if you're going after businesses? What's their income if they're a consumer? How much are they willing to spend? What channels and what actions can you take to get in front of them? If you're going after boomers, then maybe Facebook is a good platform. If you're going after Gen Z, maybe TikTok. So, you need to figure all of this out. What are the goals? What are the barriers that stop them from getting to that goal? What are the reasons that those barriers exist? And you need to get really defined on all of this. And what that will help you do is understand which offer here done for you is going to be the best thing for them. And then you can reverse engineer that to find the DIY offer that brings them into you. And you sell them the DIY offer at a low cost, and they're then pre-sold on the next offers. So you start with understanding who you're targeting and then reverse engineer the big offer to the small offer. Got it? The next thing that you really want to be focused on is to reach buyers and cash flow, right? Money loves speed. This is nothing new. How fast you reach new buyers, sell to buyers, and get paid back is key to your growth. Now, there are generally 3 rules of revenue growth. Okay. Number 1, increase the number of buyers. Number 2, increase the amount that they pay you, which is the average order value. Number 3, get them to pay you again, which is lifetime value. If you can get more buyers to pay you more money and to pay you again, your business will grow. That is a fundamental rule that is true regardless of business type, business model, whatever. It works. Now, when you're doing this, a lot of people will focus on selling the big item, the $2,000, the $5,000, the $10,000, the $50,000, the $100,000 offer. That takes a very long time to sell because big purchase, long consideration cycles. If you're selling into big businesses, there are multiple different stakeholders that you have to convince. Okay. So we need to then focus on the first 2 to begin with. You need to reach new people, sell to buyers, and get paid back ASAP. Okay. And this is why I like selling low ticket products to people, because it identifies and filters for those buyers. And they have prospect inertia, very high prospect inertia, which means once they paid you once, they'll pay you again in short order. This is a basic payback period sort of diagram. I don't care what your marketing is, whether you're doing organic, whether you're doing paid, whatever. You're always paying to acquire a lead. That could be if it takes you 3 hours to write a post, to do a video, to do some social posts, whatever, and you bill out at $100 an hour, that's $300 of your time gone. That's the cost. If you're paying for ads, you're paying $100 a day. That's $100 that you've paid. So you're always going to pay. So whenever you acquire a lead, you're always going to be in the negative. You're always going to be down here, right? Your job is to get back to break even as fast as possible. Once you're at break even, you have been paid back. Everything that customer then pays you after that fact is profit. Most models will look at paid to a lead magnet to nurture. 2-3 months later, they'll pay you. Okay. So you've got to carry those costs for those 2 or 3 months. Let's say that you are putting in the equivalent of $1,000 per day into ads, into your time to try and acquire customers. With the free lead magnet model, it might take you 20 days from them touching that ad to becoming a client. That means that you've spent $20,000 before you're getting payback. That's huge. Most people can't afford to do that. right? That's $20,000 to get that first client. That client, you might sell them a 25K a year package, which is just over 2K a month, which means that your payback is going to be 10 months on that. In fact, it's going to be longer because it's 10 months and 20 days. So to do this, I'm not saying that you can't do this. There are plenty of people out there doing this, but it doesn't work for a lot of businesses. You need huge cash reserves. You need a very high ticket offer, and you need a proven system. Remember those free lead magnet journeys? Huge drop-offs. Anything goes wrong in there, you're going to lose sales, okay? So it all needs to be dialed in perfectly. So the reason that I don't like doing that is because it's very difficult to maintain, and you could be 15 days in before you realize the system's broken, that person's not going to buy, and then you're 15K in debt. With the ACCER model, remember we get people down to that low ticket offer, the convert stage ASAP. Generally, I'm looking at a 2-day payback on a lot of the things that I run. And let's say that I have a very low, just above break even, a 1.1 ROAS. If you don't know, ROAS is return on ad spend. What I can basically do is I can spend $1,000 on ads today and I'll make $1,100 back tomorrow. Because I use an American Express to buy all of my ads, they come up to me on, let's say, the 15th. Today is the 15th. They'll come up to me on the 15th and say, hey, your last month statement is done. You have to pay us by the 25th. You got 10 days to pay it. So if I'm doing this as like a 2-day payback, 1.1 ROAS, they're capping my bill today. I have 10 days to pay it back. Within those 10 days, I've made back that money. So I've acquired customers for free. This filters for those serious buyers. You get much faster feedback because you're waiting 2 days to see if the system works, not 20 days. Less stress because you're seeing cash flow come in all the time. But really, the real benefit is this. It's the serious buyers. It's a filter for people who will put their money where their mouth is. And that's what we want. This is what I've found to be the most efficient way. And then once you run those like webinars, those back-end nurture sequences, because these people have put money down, they're usually way more serious. So more people will turn up to webinars, to sales calls, to those nurture sequences will be engaged with on a much higher rate. So this is the best way to do it, in my opinion, on that front end. But what about the increasing ad costs? Yes, ads are getting more expensive, more competitive, all of this. Essentially, the two metrics that you need for this quick payback are cost per acquisition and average order value. You just need to make sure your average order value is better than your cost per acquisition. Most people think of this in a single engagement, right? So I'm going to have this low ticket offer that will get people down to that convert stage of ACCER ASAP, $27. That's a no-brainer for my audience. But you might have to spend $35 to get that $27 sale. So you're actually losing $8. Not a problem. Much easier doing this if you then know that within 20 days that person will convert. You've not wasted that 20 grand. You're wasting, percentage-wise, you're getting 80-90% payback on this. So you're not going to waste as much money, but you're still losing money. How do we make sure the average order value is going to be greater than the cost per acquisition? We add a simple self-liquidating offer element into this funnel. So we have a bump offer and an upsell. And essentially the bump offer should be a catalyst. This low ticket offer is to help them implement a solution. The bump offer is to help them implement that solution faster. Then we have an upsell, which solves the next problem. The example I always use here is, here's this front end offer. Use this, you'll lose £30 in 3 months. Great. Weight loss, everybody's been over marketed doing this. The bump offer for that is, here's a diet that will help you lose those £30 in 6 weeks. It's faster. Great. The upsell is a new problem. You've now lost £20. Let's look at how you can now maintain your new healthier weight. That's a new problem. They don't need to lose weight, they need to maintain it. And you build it, you like this. You have bump, the low ticket offer, the bump offer, and then the upsell. And then this is the general one that I use. What this then does is it gives you the potential. If you were doing it before the one method, the highest order value you could get is $27. Here, the potential order value is actually, so if we just round this up, 100, 200, 50, 80. So we'll call that we'll call it 170 because we're losing a couple of dollars here and there. So potential order value is $270. You're not going to get that off every person. On average, the average order value for this would be about 65 is what I make on this funnel. So I then spend $35 to get a customer who pays me on average $65. So I make $30 profit. Here's the thing, right? That's great for reaching more people. I can then put that $30 back into advertising or back into marketing to reach more people and bring in more buyers and keep building my list with serious people who want to put their money down. And if I have that system that turns them from a low ticket buyer to a high ticket buyer in 7 days, 10 days, 20 days, golden. Everything is aligning. And that's the next thing. We're talking about those 3 revenue rules. We've now covered the cost per acquisition so we can reach new buyers. We have also now increased the average order value, so we're getting those buyers to pay us more money because we built this system. How do we get them to pay us again? This is where the profit's made. I am never going to be able to retire off $30 profit per customer. Not going to happen. So we look at increasing the lifetime value. Email sequences are really great for this, but what most people do is they have the leaders generated and they send them 5, 10, 15, 20 emails of just buy now. And they'll take different angles with that and be like, hey, you should buy this. Did you know that this is available? Hey, look, I've just launched this. Why don't you get a discount on this? Here's the thing, right? If I come up to you and I say, hey, you should hire me, and you say no, and I go, okay. And then tomorrow I go, what about hiring me? You say no. I'm not giving you any information. I'm not addressing why you're not hiring me. So that's essentially what these email sequences, the ascension sequences that turn people from a one-time customer into a multi-time paying client need to do. They actually need to remove the hesitations and the reasons why somebody isn't going to buy. There are many reasons, different for the audience, different for the offers, but you've got to look at it like this, right? There are different, I call them adoption lenses. So you have your offer. Different cohorts of your audience will look at your offer through different lenses. Some people will be price sensitive. Some people will be belief sensitive. Will this work? Some people want to see that it's worked for other people. Some people want to know about the actual system underlying it, in this case, the ACCER model. Some people are time sensitive. They want to know how long it will take to get a result or how long it will take to implement this kind of stuff. Different people have different adoption lenses. Some people will have multiple. So to increase the lifetime value, you need to systematically remove the hesitations that people have with these different adoption lenses. The way I always think of it is we are all selling transformations, right? This is where somebody is today. This is their dream state of where they want to be. Your offer is that bridge that helps them go from A to B. Doesn't matter whether it's a B2C weight loss app, professional consulting offer, doesn't matter. We're all in this transformation business. I'll help you lose weight. I'll help you make more money. I'll help you enjoy yourself. I'll help you do this. I'll help you do that, whatever. And that's basically it. We want to get people to that end goal, that transformation state. Some people will have one reason why they don't want to buy. Everyone's always price sensitive, but in this case, let's say they're proof sensitive. They want to see a lot of proof that this actually works. So if you can remove this blocker here, that person will feel more comfortable buying. Some people will have multiple hesitations and you need to sequentially remove them. They might be a little price sensitive. They want to also see proof and they also want to see how the system works. If you focus only on why this is so cheap, you're not going to sell these people. Okay. So you need to sequentially remove all of these. Some people will see one email that removes that hesitation, be like, this is for me. Others will need you to go through 3 or 4 different stages. The way that we build these is when the lead's generated, we put them in a email sequence where the first few emails might look at proof. Hey, this is a result you can get. The next few emails might look at the belief. This is why you can get this result. The next few emails might price anchor this to make it look like a really good deal. But you have to build a sequential system that removes those hesitations. If you don't have that, you're not going to sell all of those different cohorts of your audience because different people have different hesitations, different reasons to not buy, different sensitivities. You need to make sure that you're covering all of those. So this is what we, like Manuel already had the email list. And we basically built this kind of email system for him. We first warmed them up because it was a very dormant list. But then we did the sequence of just going through these hesitation removals. And 5K subs, no email in 2 years, 2 weeks of emails. And it was just under 14K in sales just by sending those emails. And the best thing is if you then go back to the ACCER model, you then have that proven ascension sequence. All that you need to do is find more buyers, throw them into that. And what will happen is more people will then buy the thing, and it's that automated system. Speaking of the ACCER model, you can generally then, now that you understand it's about attracting people and then upselling them, you can generally break it down into those two areas, right? So the first half, attract, how you get in front of people, how you capture their details, and how you get them to buy. This is how to generate buyers at scale and at cost. So for every dollar you put into your marketing, you make $1 back, right? And then that dollar goes back into marketing. And so you can continue to reach more people, not just people then, but buyers, serious buyers who are looking to solve the problem. Once you have those people, we have over here, which is the profit maximizers. And what we're doing here is we're keeping them engaged, but we're sequentially removing those hesitations that they have to not buy your core profit driving high ticket offer. And you can automate a lot of this. What's great though is that if you cover your costs here, everything that you then sell here is at 100% profit. Most people don't think of this like that. The self-liquidating offer, they think of the self-liquidating offer as the business unto itself. No, it's there to attract serious buyers at scale without losing money. And then you can promote your serious profit driving offers to them at 100% profit. That's the core thing. And that's what the ACCER model basically does. And this is what I've been helping people install in their businesses to get better growth, more predictable growth with less risk, more profit, better revenue. Okay? If you take nothing else away from this, just realize that what you have to do is you have to filter for the serious buyers. You have to do that in a way where you can cover your spend for marketing so that you can continue to invest and invest more so that you can reach more people. Once you can do that, you can then sell those people more stuff at 100% profit. When they're happy, you get them to refer their friends. So one customer becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4. Okay. This is what I've found to be the most effective model. I've used it in all kinds of different businesses, and it works regardless of the industry or the business size, simply because this is just based on human psychology, finding serious buyers, people who need to have your solution, positioning it as a low threat, low cost solution, bringing them into your world, and then from there, removing the reasons that they have to not trust you so that they feel comfortable buying your high ticket offer. This is what you should be doing. Doesn't matter on the business, it will work. Now, you got some next steps. After knowing this, you can continue with your generic offers, the freebie seekers chasing leads, and the low conversion rates where you are then required to go out and find dozens, hundreds, thousands of people to try and make 1 or 2 sales. Or you can switch to this system, which will get you daily buyers, quick payback, generally automated, I will say, upsells, by building an ACCER model that attracts, captures, converts people at cost, engages them to your high profit next steps, and then gets them to refer their friends to double down. You can choose to keep doing it the old way or to focus on this new way. Now, if you want help with this, here's how I can help. Below this video, there is a link where you can book a free strategy session with me to see how this could work in your business. That is a 1-hour call where we'll go through it. And my goal on that call is to simply give you some ideas and some next steps that you could use in your business to get some results. If we both like each other and we think that there's a fit where I could help you do that, then we can talk about that. But really, the goal of the strategy session is to understand whether or not this will work for your business and how you might be able to implement it. You will walk away with at least one actionable piece of advice that you can implement to improve your business's growth and revenue and profit. You could be like these people here who have all got those results and those people that I've been mentioning throughout. It works. It works across different businesses, across different stages. All that you need is a proven offer and a defined ICP. The rest of it we can build. There is a specific way to build this to get the best results, and I would love to help you figure out how to do that. So if that sounds like it's interesting, check the link below. You'll be able to book a call. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out and let me know. I'll see you in the next one.